Hello, my friends. It starts with a whisper as you turn on the TV, scroll through your phone, or chat with friends. Sugar causes cancer, meat is toxic, dairy is dangerous. The message is everywhere. And if you're over 60, these warnings hit you even harder. You start to doubt every bite you take. A simple ham sandwich becomes suspect. A glass of wine? It's exhausting. But there's something the headlines don't tell you. According to global health data, only two foods are clearly and consistently linked to increased cancer risk in large population studies. Just two. Not sugar, not soy, not even red meat in moderation. This is where the truth begins and the fear begins to dissipate. Many seniors are quietly overwhelmed, trapped between fad diets, outdated rules, and scary social media claims. That's why today's message is so important. This is Dr. Jarek, and together we're walking in science, not fear. And before we go any further, share in the comments. What foods have you been told to avoid for health reasons, be it sugar, cheese, or red meat? You might be surprised by what we reveal next. This video has a singular purpose to give you the facts real research backed and relevant to seniors about two foods that consistently increase your risk of cancer. We'll also demystify some foods that are often feared, but not to blame. We'll explore why some meats are dangerous and why others are misunderstood. Why alcohol, despite its social acceptance, carries a cancer risk that many people ignore. And we'll show you how you can still enjoy life, meals, and community without the fear. You're about to discover two everyday foods that are secretly boosting your cancer risk after age 60 and, more importantly, what to do about it. Here's the shocking truth. According to the World Health Organization, just 50 grams of processed meat a day, about 2 slices of bacon, or a small sandwich can increase your risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. That's not a scare tactic. That's population-level data that's been looked at over decades. Let's break it down. Processed meat is meat that has been cured, salted, smoked, or otherwise altered to improve its shelf life or flavor. This includes cold cuts, sausages, hot dogs, bacon, beef jerky, and even many organic or nitrate-free varieties. The problem isn't the meat itself, it's how it's processed. Here's the science. Many processed meats contain nitrates or nitrites preservatives that give the meat its pink color and flavor. When digested, these compounds can turn into nitrosamines, which have been shown to damage cell DNA and increase cancer growth over time. Even when labeled nitrate-free, the alternatives used like celery extract can behave in similar ways inside the body. So what should you do first? Don't keep processed meats in your home by default. They're easy to overuse when they're readily available. Instead, think of them as a holiday treat, something you might enjoy a few times a year for brunch or a special event, not part of your weekly shopping routine. Processed meats are convenient, but convenience shouldn't come at the expense of your health, especially after age 60 when your cancer risk increases due to natural changes in your immune system and cell repair. At first glance, it sounds reassuring nitrate-free. You see it on the front of bacon packages, deli meat labels, even jerky sticks advertised as clean. For many older people, especially those who are starting to pay more attention to ingredients, that little phrase is like a green light. But is it? Here's the thing. Even nitrate-free meat can react the same way in your body as conventional processed meat. Most of these products still use natural sources of nitrates, like celery powder or beet juice. And once digested, those natural nitrates are converted to nitrites, which can then form nitrosamines, the very cancer-linked compounds we're trying to avoid. So, what's the difference between synthetic and natural nitrates? On a chemical level, virtually nothing. The body processes them the same way. The labels may change, but the risks don't. Let me share the story of Richard, 67 from California. A retired firefighter and proud grandfather of 4. He made big changes after being treated for prostate cancer, replacing soda with water, walking daily, and proudly switching to nitrate-free bacon every Sunday morning. He felt good about that. But when he stumbled upon new research linking even naturally processed meats to colon cancer, he felt betrayed. I thought I was doing the right thing. He says, turns out I was just buying the same hazard in a different package. That frustration is real and well-founded. The food industry is rife with health-boosting gimmicks. That means using clever marketing to make a product seem healthier than it really is. Labels like natural, no added nitrates, and minimally processed often hide similar mechanisms of harm behind gentler language. So what can you trust? Instead of focusing on labels, focus on how often these foods appear in your diet. Frequency matters. An occasional slice of bacon at brunch with your family won't increase or decrease your cancer risk. But daily consumption, even from cleaner brands, will add up. Cancer doesn't develop overnight. It develops slowly. Over time. Over time. Here's what you can do. Swap nitrate-free deli meats for home-cooked roasts. Cook a batch of chicken or turkey breast once a week and slice it yourself. Flavor it with herbs, mustards, or healthy butters, not preservatives. Try lentil salad, white bean hummus, or nut-based sandwich fillings. These choices not only reduce your cancer risk, but also aid in better digestion, reduce inflammation, and keep your plate more colorful and appetizing. Processed meat, nitrate-free or not, is still processed. Meat still goes through preservation steps that change its chemical makeup and affect your body. And after age 60, when our cellular repair systems naturally slow down, reducing your exposure to harmful compounds is one of the smartest moves you can make. So the next time you see nitrate-free, stop. Ask yourself not just what's in it, but how often do I eat it? It's just one glass. A little wine at dinner, a toast at your grandson's wedding, a quiet sip while watching the sunset. Alcohol often feels harmless, especially when it's woven into life's joyful moments. But here's the truth: many don't realize alcohol is a Group 1 carcinogen, the same risk category as tobacco and asbestos. That's not opinion. That's the scientific consensus from global health agencies, including the World Health Organization. Even moderate drinking, just one glass per day, can increase your risk of several cancers, including breast, colorectal, liver, esophageal, and throat cancers. In fact, studies show that one drink daily increases your cancer risk by about 9%, while just 3 drinks per week raises it by 4%. The antioxidants in wine, you can get those from grapes, blueberries, or green tea without the ethanol. What makes alcohol risky isn't just the drink itself, it's how it breaks down in the body. Ethanol converts into acetaldehyde, a toxic compound that damages DNA and impairs the cell's repair systems. Over time, this DNA damage increases cancer risk, especially in older adults whose detox systems have naturally slowed with age. Now, this doesn't mean you must become a teetotaler overnight, but it does mean you should choose consciously, not casually. Here are some small, smart shifts. Replace wine with a fruit-infused sparkling water. Replace wine with a fruit-infused sparkling water. Try herbal teas in the evening to relax. Alternate alcoholic drinks with non-alcoholic ones at events. Set alcohol-free days during the week. Explore zero-proof spirits or alcohol-free wine for special occasions. And just as important, ask yourself why you drink. Is it stress relief? Social habit? Emotional comfort? Often, identifying the motivation helps you find healthier ways to meet the same need. At this stage of life, your choices carry power. You don't need to fear alcohol, but you do need to respect what it does inside your body. If you continue to drink, do so with open eyes. Because when it comes to cancer prevention, every small reduction helps. Headlines scream: sugar feeds cancer, followed by soy causes breast cancer to recur. Then there are warnings about red meat, gluten, or dairy. If you're over 60, especially if you've faced a diagnosis or watched a loved one suffer, these messages hit home. But slow down and look at what the science actually says, because fear-based nutrition is not the same as evidence-based prevention. Let's start with sugar. Yes, cancer cells use glucose for fuel, but so does every cell in your body, from your brain to your muscles to your immune system. Cutting out sugar completely won't starve cancer, because your body will simply turn to other sources like protein or fat for energy. More importantly, not all sugars are created equal. A banana or a bowl of berries, whole foods packed with fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins have a very different effect on your body than a cake or a processed soda. You don't have to fear fruit. You need to avoid too much sugar, not the nutrient-dense foods that nature provides. And what about soy? This worries many women, especially those with a history of hormone-related breast cancer. The concern is understandable. Soy contains phytoestrogens, which sound like estrogen, a hormone that is often linked to the development of certain cancers. But the truth is, phytoestrogens are plant compounds that are structurally similar to estrogen, but don't work the same way. In fact, they often block estrogen's effects on cells rather than enhancing it. Recent research suggests that moderate consumption of soy, such as tofu, tempeh, or edamame, is actually linked to a lower risk of breast cancer recurrence, not a higher one. Here's a quick story. Janet, 66, survived breast cancer twice. She cut soy out of her diet out of fear skipping family dinners, avoiding stir fries, even throwing out her favorite miso soup. But when her oncologist finally reviewed the updated research with her, she cried, "I was scared wrong." She says, today, she enjoys soy again confidently, in moderation, and guilt-free. And finally, red meat. Contrary to popular belief, unprocessed red meat like roast beef, lamb, or pork does not carry the same risks as processed meat. It's not the meat itself that's the problem. It's how it's stored or cooked. Charred or heavily salted meats are where the risk increases. But small, moderate portions of unprocessed red meat, especially when combined with plenty of vegetables, do not appear to increase cancer risk for most people. So what does all this mean? It means your plate isn't a battleground. It means eating isn't a constant fear, it's about balanced habits over time. It means you can include fruit, even sweet fruit, soy foods a few times a week, lean, unprocessed meats in moderation, because peace of mind is just as important as nutrition. And after 60, you deserve both. Because after all the noise, you deserve a strategy. One rooted in evidence, flexible enough for real life, and sustainable through your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Here's the first truth: you don't need to eliminate everything. You need to focus your energy on what matters most. Reducing reliable, proven risks like processed meat and alcohol, and building a plate that protects your cells instead of overwhelming them. Let me introduce Elaine. 65, a retired nurse from Oregon. After a colon cancer scare, she went extreme, cut out carbs, dairy, meat, even legumes. "I was eating celery in fear," she said. The weight dropped, but so did her energy. Her joy vanished. She dreaded holidays, skipped brunches, and carried her own safe food to every event. Then she met with a lifestyle nutritionist who helped her rethink it all. Instead of cutting, they started adding color, fiber, lean protein, healthy fats. The result: her blood work improved. Her appetite returned. But more importantly, so did her joy. Here's how you can build the same freedom. Structure your plate simply. 50% vegetables raw, steamed, roasted. 25% protein beans, fish, grilled meat, tofu. 25% healthy carbs, sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice. Flavor naturally. Use herbs, spices, lemon juice, and extra virgin olive oil. Skip the bottled sauces full of preservatives. Plan indulgences. Rather than fearing the holidays or birthdays, plan for them. Enjoy a glass of wine at a wedding, but not as a nightly ritual. Allow bacon on your birthday, not in your breakfast drawer. Eat slowly, mindfully, and with gratitude. Sit down, breathe, taste, chew, talk, laugh. Food is not the enemy. Disconnection is. Here's the bottom line: you can't control everything, but you can control your patterns. You can choose what's in your fridge. You can build habits that protect your future. And you can let go of guilt while holding on to strategy. Because guilt doesn't prevent cancer. Fear doesn't nourish the body. But knowledge, intention, and joy, they just might. So today, I invite you to make one shift, not 10. Just one. Maybe that's swapping your deli ham for lentil salad, or choosing sparkling water over wine, or just sitting down to enjoy your lunch with no guilt for once. Because the way we eat after 60 shouldn't be about rules. It should be about wisdom. So let's recap what we've learned. Among all the foods that spark confusion, only 2 have been clearly or consistently linked to cancer: risk processed meats and alcohol, not sugar and fruit, not soy, not lean, unprocessed red meat. Just those 2 confirmed by decades of population-level research suck Cui Han Phuc, and more importantly, these risks aren't about one moment, they're about long-term patterns. You don't need to panic over one brunch or one toast, but you do deserve to know which habits may quietly harm your health over time. As someone in your 60s or 70s, you've already lived through enough noise, doubt, and misinformation. What you need now isn't restriction, it's clarity. You need the confidence to choose food that supports your body, not just avoids fear. At Dr. Jarek. That's what we stand for: science-based, guilt-free guidance for seniors who want to eat wisely, not obsessively. So if this message resonates with you, consider subscribing and sharing this with a friend who might need to hear it. Because your next step is simple: pick one small change. Remove processed meat from your weekly routine. Cut back on casual alcohol. Focus on what you're adding, not just what you're avoiding. Let your plate reflect who you are now: resilient, informed, and free. The truth is powerful, but your actions with that truth, that's where freedom begins.